What's up, guys, and welcome back to another simple HTML, CSS, and JavaScript project. In this video, we are going to create a responsive navigation bar or responsive navbar using HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. Now, at the end of the video, we are going to create we're actually going to create multiple animations. Okay, so we are going to create about 5 animations that you can choose from, and we are going to use CSS keyframes for that. Okay, so we are first going to design or create the navigation bar and then make it responsive using HTML and then CSS, and we are going to add the functionality using JavaScript, and at the end we are going to add the animation, okay, using CSS keyframes. All right, there's not a lot to talk about for this, so let's get started. All right, so go ahead and then create a project or create a folder anywhere in your system, on your machine, and you can go on desktop, create a folder wherever you want. Okay, I have a responsive navbar animation folder right here, and I'm going to go ahead and then create the files that we need. Okay, so first we are going to have an HTML file, and we are going to call this index. Okay, so this is the default HTML page. Okay, all right, so let's have a CSS file as well. I'm going to call this style.css, and I'm going to create a main.js file. Okay, we are going to write some JavaScript, and to make things interesting, I'm going to create some more pages. Okay, so that we can make this whole project a multi-page um, website. Okay, so I'm going to create some more pages, some more HTML files. So I'm going to call this contact.html. We are going to have, come on, that should be HTML. So contact.html. Okay, so we are going to have a contact page. We're going to have about.html. We are going to have services.html. And let's add the last one, portfolio.html. Okay, all right, so these are the pages that we are going to need, or these are the files that we are going to need. So I'm going to right click and then open with VS Code. Okay, that's the text editor I'm going to use. All right, so as you can see, okay, as you can see right here, I have the files and I have index and then style opened. Okay, I'm actually going to close the styles, so I have my index HTML open right here. Okay, and for extensions, now I have the only extension you need for this project. You actually don't need it, you can just refresh if you want. We need live server. Okay, but I am actually using preview on web server. Okay, it works similar to live server, but I prefer this, so that's what I'm going to use, and it's basically going to refresh the page for me. Okay, instead of me manually doing it myself. All right, so we are going to start with our index.html. Okay, and I actually have Emmet installed, or Emmet actually comes with VS Code. So if you're using VS Code, you don't have to install it, but if you're using a different text editor, you have to install Emmet. All right, so Emmet actually is a shortcut extension. Okay, so you can do exclamation, what, it's not working. Okay, so basically we can do something like HTML, and then it is going to create the tag for us. Okay, we can do something like this, and it's going to create a div with a class of doc. Okay, so that's Emmet, and for some reason this should actually create a boilerplate for me, but it's not working, so I'm just going to go ahead and type this myself. All right, so I'm going to have my doc type. Of course, I'm going to have my HTML tag, and let me set the language. I'm going to set the language to English. I'm going to have my head and my body tag. Okay, and inside the head I'm going to have some meta tags. So let me set the car set to UTF-8. And for responsiveness, I'm going to have another one, and this is going to have a name of viewport, and I'm going to set the content to be width equals device width, and initial scale is going to be 1.0. Okay, and that's all we need. Actually, let me just add one more thing, one more meta. This is actually not really necessary. Okay, so all right, now we can go ahead and then link our style sheets. Okay, our CSS file, and that is style.css. That's our CSS file. Actually, I'm going to leave a link, sorry, a comment. Yeah, obviously this clear, but just to have some comments in this project. Okay, so right here we are going to start our project. Okay, we are going to create our navbar. All right, and I'm going to put that inside a nav tag, and directly, or a direct child of this is going to be a div with a class of container. Okay, so with emit I can do dot nav underscore underscore container. So this is going to create a div with a class of container, as you can see. And inside this, we are going to have our logo. Okay, we are going to first have our logo. So that's going to be an anchor tag, and this going to come to the index page or the home page. And this is going to be an image. Okay, so I don't think I have that image in the project, so I'm just going to grab it and I'm going to paste it here. Okay, so this is the image that we are going to use. Okay, yeah, okay, so let me go ahead and then get that image, and for the alt I can just say Navbar logo. All right, now next to this is going to be the nav links. Okay, so I'm going to have an added list with a class of nav underscore underscore links. Okay, we are going to have our li, and inside it we are going to have our anchor tag. Okay, so this first one is going to go to the home page, or is going to come to the home page. That's this page that we are on, so the index page, and we are just going to say home. Okay, now I'm going to duplicate this a few times. So we are going to have our home page, we are going to have a link to about, so this is going to say about. We are going to have services. Okay, so this is going to take us to the services page. This is going to say services. What else? We are going to have the portfolio. Okay, so portfolio, and lastly our contacts page. Now that's basically all for the markup, but when we check out the finished project, when we go to the mobile view right here, you can see we have this icon. Okay, we have this hamburger icon and then this close icon as well. Okay, so these are going to be available only on mobile and then tablet devices. Okay, on medium and then small screens. So we are going to use those icons. I actually don't have them. Okay, I don't have them in my file, so I'm going to have a CDN. Okay, I'm going to grab a CDN. So let's go to icon scout. Okay, that's what we are going to use. I'm going to go to explore, and I'm going to use the free icons. Okay, they are free icons. Okay, so I'm going to use the free one. That's the line. And first, let me grab the CDN. Okay, so icon scout CDN. I'm just going to grab this real quick, come back to my project, and then I'm going to paste it here. Let me have a comment and paste it. Okay, so that's the CDN for icon scout. If you have, or if you want, you can just download those two icons. Okay, I don't think it's a good idea to even have a CDN for only two icons, but that's what we are going to do for today. If you want, you can just download those two icons. So the first one is the hamburger icon. So I'm just going to search menu. Okay, so we have this. That's what we are going to use. So here, down here, outside of the UL, I'm going to have a button. And I'm actually going to give this a class of nav toggle btn. Okay, and I'm going to paste the icon I just copied. For this first one, that's the hamburger icon. So I'm going to give this an ID of nav toggle open. Okay, so this is going to open. We are going to grab on this in the JavaScript and then use it to open or show the drop down. Okay, on mobile and then tablet devices. Okay, so let me actually duplicate this. We're going to do same for um the close. Okay, the close icon or the close button. So I'm going to search close here and then grab this. Okay, I'm going to copy and then paste it right here. I'm going to paste it here. Let's save. And with live server or with um what's the name of this? Yeah, preview on web server. With that, I'm going to right click and then open with live server. Okay, and that's going to open our project in our default browser. Okay, so as you can see, we have it here. All right, so this is basically what we have in the markup. Okay, and to make this interesting, I'm going to have a section, okay, with an h1 that says the page that we are on. Okay, so we are currently on the home page, so we just have a section outside of the nav. Okay, that says the name of the page that we are on. All right, so let's go ahead into our styles or our style of CSS and then give our page some styles. Okay, so this is basically what we have from the markup. For the CSS, in order to not repeat ourselves, we are going to use some variables. Okay, so if you're very new to CSS variables, I think you're going to learn how they are used or how they work in CSS. All right, so I'm going to have a root variable or some root variables, and we call them root variables because they can be accessed anywhere in the project. Okay, anywhere in the file. All right, so first, I'm going to have my primary color. So I'm going to call this color primary. And that's going to have a hex code of 00C3F4. Okay. So this is going to be my primary color. And I'm going to have another color, which is going to be similar to the primary color, but it's going to be the variant. Okay. And that's going to have a hex code of 0062F4. Okay. Yeah, and if you look at the finished project, let me actually close these two. We don't need them. If you look at the finished project, you can see we have a gradient. Okay, we have this light blue or sky blue thing here, and then we have this deep blue. I don't know what it's called, but we have a gradient basically. And for that, we are going to have a variable for that. Okay, so we are going to call this color gradient. Okay, and that's going to be linear gradient. Okay, and it's going to be a linear gradient of this primary color and then the variance color. Okay, so we are going to call the primary color basically. Okay, so color primary, and then we have a comma. Nope, it should be only one variable. Yeah, okay, and then the color primary variant. Okay, why is it repeating? So to use a CSS variable or to call it, basically, you need to use this var and then to call it like this. Okay. All right. So that's our gradient color, and we are actually going to use some more colors. Okay. So I'm just going to paste them. We're going to use some more variables. So we have the gradient, we have this white color, and then the black color as well. We have this container width LG, which is going to be the width of our container. Okay, the width of our navbar. Let me show you from the finished project. I'm going to um, get off this and then make this bigger. Okay, so you can see we have a space here and then a space there. Okay, so we're going to have a container that wraps around this and then centers the contents that we have in our nav. Okay, so that is going to be the width 80%, which is going to be for large screens, and then we are going to set it to 92 when we get to medium screens. Okay, so these are the variables, or these are the root variables that we have in our CSS. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and then zero out our margins, patterns, and all that. So I'm going to target everything on the page, okay, using this star, and then I'm going to do star before as well, and then star after. Okay, so we are targeting after and then before pseudo elements as well. All right, I'm going to set the margins for those to be 0. The padding is going to be 0 as well. The list style, okay, list style. So the list style is basically the unadded list. The bullets that we have for the unadded list. Let me actually put this side by side so that we see the effects. So the list style for this is going to be none. Okay, we don't want those bullets. And the text decoration, that's the underlines for anchor tags. Okay, text decoration, I'm going to set that to be none as well. Okay, so I'm going to save, and we have this. Okay, we have this cleaned up look. All right, now I'm going to set the box sizing to be border box. Okay, and I'm actually going to change the font that we have. Okay, I want it to look like the font that I used for the logo. Okay, so font family, and let's actually go to Google Fonts and then grab some fonts from there. Google Fonts. We can go ahead and then search Montserrat. This one right here. And I'm going to grab from the light. Okay, actually, you know what, I'm going to grab from the 500 font weight. Okay, so that's a medium. What else? I'm going to grab the semi bold, extra bold. Do I need a black? Yeah, let me just grab the black as well. Okay, so I'm going to grab those and paste that in our HTML. Okay, you can actually import it in your CSS. Okay, so you can copy from here and then import it in your CSS, but I prefer the HTML route. Okay, so I'm going to copy this link and then paste it inside my HTML. Okay, so let's come back to our HTML, and I'm going to have a comment. Google font Montserrat. Okay, and then paste the link I just copied. Okay, you can copy all these if you want. Okay, but this is going to work fine. All right, so let's come back to our projects and let's set our font to be the font we just copied. Okay, so you can even just copy this, paste it right here, save, and now we have our fonts changed. All right, so I'm going to target the body. Come on, body, and then give it the gradient background. Okay, that's the variable color gradient. Yeah, that's what I called it. Okay, so we have this. And and it is repeating because we don't have a height. Okay, so height of 100 viewport height. Yeah. Okay, so yeah, that's our body. Now let's target our nav. Okay, Remember our navbar is inside a nav tag, which is an HTML5 semantic tag. Okay, so we have that. Let's target that, and I'm going to give that a background of the white background. So we have a color white up top. I'm going to give it a width of 100%. Actually, let me do 100 viewport width. Okay, and I'm going to give it a height of 4.5 rem. Let me just do 4 rem. I'm going to display grid. Okay, and I'm displaying grid because I want to place this direct div, which is the nav container. I want to have it exactly in the middle. Okay, that is horizontally and then vertically centered. Okay, so I'm going to do place item to the center, and we have it in the middle, right? I'm going to set it to be a position of fixed. Okay, I'm going to give it a fixed position, and it's going to be 0 from the top and 0 from the left as well. Let me give it a z index so that it sits on top of everything on the page. And I'm actually going to give it a box shadow as well. Okay, so a box shadow of 0 on the x-axis, 2 rem on the y-axis, 2 rem for the blur, and an RGBA of 0, 0, 0, 0.2. Okay, so black with some transparency, and we have a shadow box shadow right here. Okay, you can play around to see what works, but I think that is you know what, yeah, let's just keep that. That's all right. All right, so let's target the direct div inside the nav. Okay, so that is, we give that a class of nav underscore underscore container, and I'm going to give that a width of the 80% that we have up top. Okay, so that is the width LG. Okay, so if you want, you can change this width if this doesn't work well for you, and that's a variable, so that is width, yeah, width LG, container width LG. Let's give this a height of 100% of the parent height, which is 4 rem, and I'm going to display this flex. Okay, so we have this side by side. Let me justify content to be space between, and I'm going to place, sorry, I'm going to align items to be center. Okay, so we have that. Now this buttons or these two icons are not going to be used on the large screens. Okay, they're only going to be needed for mobile and then tablets and devices. Okay, so I'm going to hide them on large screens. Okay, so we give them a class of nav toggle btn. Remember, we gave them that class, and we're just going to display none. Okay, so we come back here, that's the class we gave it, nav toggle btn. Okay, both buttons have that. Okay, so we display those none for now. All right, so let me go ahead and enter again the logo. We gave that a class, did we? Let's go back and check that. I think we gave our logo. No, we did not. Okay, so I'm going to give that a class of nav logo. Okay, so nav logo. Let me give that a width of 5.4 rem. I'm going to display grid, and I'm going to place items to the center. Okay, so I have my logo, and actually if I should give this a background, you can see this not right. Okay, this not exactly what we have in a finished project, and that's because our image is overflowing. Okay, so our image is bigger than the container, okay, or the parent. So what we are going to do is to select the image. So now inside our nav logo, we are going to get the image inside of it. Okay, that's the logo, and then we are going to give it a width of, or we are going to say it should be the width of its parent width. We save, and now we have it. Okay, we can now remove this background. All right, so now we have what? Why is it down here? Okay, it's probably because of this. Okay, when we align this, this is going to align in the middle as well. All right, so we have the logo right there. Let's grab the, actually, let me shrink this. Let me maximize, make this bigger, and then shrink this VS Code. All right, let's go ahead and then grab the links. Okay, so now links, that's the UL, okay, containing the LIs. And we are going to display flex, of course. We are going to align items to the center. Let's save, and now everything is aligned, as you can see. Let me give a gap between the links right here. Okay, so a gap of 4.5 rem, and I'm going to give them a height of 100% of their parent height. And now we have this, which is basically all we need for our navbar on large screens. Okay, but I'm just going to have some more styles. So let's grab the LIs. So inside our nav links, we have LIs. Let's just set the height to 100%. And I'm going to grab the anchor tags inside of them. And I'm going to change the color to color black. Okay, we have a black color up top. A font weight is going to be 500. Let's save. And okay, so it's because of this height, right? That's why we have that problem, but no worries. I'm going to go ahead and then give this a height of 100% as well. I'm going to display flex and align items to the center, and now we should have it right in the middle. Okay, now you know what, I'm actually going to give a hover effect, okay, to these links. So let's target them. Nav links LIA on hover. I want them to have the primary color. Okay, so color primary. Come on, primary. Okay, so on hover, they change color. Okay, but that's too sharp. So I'm going to add a transition of all. Let me actually do color. 400 milliseconds is. Okay, so we are transitioning the color from one color to the other. Okay, and now we have a subtle change from black to this sky blue. All right, now on the finished project, you can see on any page that we go, or the active page has um this line at the bottom. Okay, so when we navigate to a different page, you can see we have that active class that we change or we put on the active page or on the active page link. Okay, so let's actually go back to the HTML and then give one of these class. Since we are on the home page, I'm going to give that class to the home page, a class of active, and let's have some styles for that. Okay, so nav links li a class of active. I'm going to target the after pseudo element. Okay, and then give it a content of nothing. I'm going to display that block. The background is going to be the primary color. I'm going to give it a height of 5 pixels and a width of 100%. Okay, and I'm going to position it absolute. Come on. Okay, so let's save, and this is what we have, and that is happening because we do not have. Okay, since we are setting this to be an absolute position, the parent of that, which is this, should have a position of relative. Okay, and now we have it only on the link with the active class. Okay, and I'm going to push this down, so I'm going to give it a bottom of 0. Okay, so if I go back and then change the active class or remove it from this index and then put it on the about, save and come back, we have it on the about. Okay, but we are currently on the home page, so we should have it on the index. All right, so we have that, and I think that's all for the navbar on large devices. Okay, that's all for the navbar on large screens. So let's move on, and then remember we had a section right here. Okay, and now we can see it, and that is because it is hidden under the navbar, since we gave the navbar a fixed position, right? So let's target that. Let's target our section. So that is just the only section we have, so we can just grab that, and I'm going to display that grid. Okay, just so I can place items to the center, and we still can see it because we don't have a height for this section. Okay, so we are going to give it a height of 100 viewport height. Let's save, and now we have it. Okay, all right, now let me target the H1. I think, yeah, that's an H1, and then give it some styling. Okay, so section H1, I'm going to text transform that to be uppercase. I'm going to change the color to be white, and I'm going to make the font bigger. Okay, so font size is going to be 3 rem. Let's save, and this is what we have. Okay, perfect. All right, now before we move on to make this whole thing responsive, I want to go into the different pages, and then I'm just going to copy everything that we have here in the home page. Okay, I'm going to copy and then paste it in the different pages that we have. Okay, so this is the about page. So this section right here on the about page is just going to say about. Okay, so that we know we are on the about page. Okay, I actually use text transform, so I don't need to make them uppercase. You can just leave them uppercase if you want, but this is going to be the contact page. So if we go to the about page, it's now about. Okay, and we should remember to give the active class to the about page, so, or the link that brings us to the about page. Okay, so here I'm going to remove this active class and then paste it on the about link. Okay, and on the contact I'm going to do the same. I'm going to remove it here and then paste it on the contacts, which is here. Okay, and let's go to portfolio. I'm going to copy everything, paste it, change this to portfolio, and then I'm going to remove the active class. Where is it? Okay, that's the portfolio. Okay, I'm going to copy this whole thing again, come to the services, paste it. I'm going to change this to services, copy the active class, services, right? Yeah, so I'm going to paste it here on the services link. All right, and that's it. Okay, so we have our different pages. Okay, so we can navigate around, and as you can see, we have the different pages that we created. Okay, so everything is working perfectly, so we can now go ahead and then make this whole thing responsive. Okay, so I'm going to close up, and we are using the same styles. Okay, the same styles or the same style sheets for all the pages. So everything should work exactly the same for all the pages. Okay, so let's go ahead and then have the media query. So make this whole thing responsive. Okay, so media queries, medium and small screens. I'm going to make this smaller. So you're on medium and then small devices. So this shouldn't be big. All right. So I'm going to have my media query. So at media screen, and max width. I'm going to give it a max width of 1024 pixels, 1024 pixels. Okay. So that is going to be from medium devices, from tablets and below. Okay, so this is going to, these styles that we are going to have here is going to take effect on a maximum width of 1024 pixel screen. All right, so for us to know what's happening, I'm just going to change the background for the body to be red. Okay, so as you can see, this right here is the breakpoint. Okay, so from here and below, we are going to have these styles. Okay, or these styles are going to take effect. All right, so that's just for a test. Obviously I don't need a red background. So here we are going to grab the nav container and give it a width, or we are going to change the width to be the container width MD. Okay, for medium. Okay, I think that is 92 pixels, sorry, 92%. Okay, that's 92%. And that's all we need for the nav container. Okay, I'm going to grab the nav links. Okay, so this UL that has the LIs with the links, I'm going to grab that UL and then position that absolute. Okay, and since I'm positioning this absolute, I should give the parents a position of relative. Okay, so a position of absolute is going to be 100% from the top, and I'm going to give it a right of 0, so it's going to come right here. Okay, all right, so we have that. And let me change the flex direction. Remember, there is actually displayed flex already. Okay, so I'm going to change the flex direction to be column, and I'm going to give it a gap of 0. Okay, I'm going to remove the gap. Basically, I'm going to align items to be flex start, and let's see what we have. Okay, so we have this. Now I'm going to target the LIs. Okay, so nav links, and inside them you have the LIs. I'm going to give them a width of 100%, and let's give them a box shadow, okay, of -2 rem for the x-axis, 4 rem for the y-axis, 4 rem for the blur, RGBA of 0000 and 0.2 for the alpha. Okay, so we have it, but because we don't have a background, it is not quite showing, but we are going to work on that. Now let's move on and then grab the anchor tags. Okay, the anchor tags that we have inside the LIs. Okay, so nav links, LIs, and then the A's. Okay, let's give them a background of color white, and let's give them a height of 4 rem, a width of 100% of the appearance width. We are going to display flex and align items to the center. Okay, let's save and see what we have. That's what we have. Let's actually give it a padding. Okay, on the left and then the right, let's give some space there. So padding of 0 for the top, 5 rem for the right, 0 for the bottom, and then 2.5 for the left. Okay, so we have that. Let me give it a border bottom. Actually, let me do it border top of let's do 1 pixel solid, and let's just, you know what, I'm just going to copy the primary color here, come down here, and I'm going to use that. Let's see what we have. That's actually not too bad. but I want a lighter version of that color. Okay. Yes. Yeah, that's not too bad. Let's leave it like that. All right, now I'm going to remove this after. Okay, this after that we have. Remember on the big screens, on the larger screen, we have this after pseudo elements styled for the active class. Okay, so I'm going to remove that. So nav links lia active after. Okay, I'm going to display that now. All right, so we don't have that anymore. All right, now on medium and then small devices, that's when we need, or small screens, that's where we need the buttons. Okay, so the menu button or the hamburger button, and then the close button as well. Okay, and remember we gave that a class of nav toggle btn. Here we are going to display them in line block, so they should show. Okay, so we have them. Let me change the font size to 2rem. I'm going to change the color to the black color, and I'm going to remove the border as well. Okay, so border should be none. Let's save and see what we have. Right, and I'm going to remove the background as well. Okay, so the background should be transparent, and the cursor should be pointer on hover. Okay, so that they look clickable. Okay, so we have this. Now by default we won't have the close. Okay, so I'm going to remove that for now. Okay, so when we come to the page on small and then large, so sorry, on small and then medium devices, we are only going to have this. Okay, and when we click on it using JavaScript, you are going to hide this and then show this close icon as well. Okay, so we gave that an ID of nav toggle close, if you can remember. So we are just going to display that none for now. Okay, so we should have only the hamburger icon. And I think that's all for the media queries. Okay, actually let me give a different font size for the each one on on small and then medium devices. I'm going to change the font size to be 2.2 rem. Okay, and that should be enough. Okay, that's enough for so this is actually perfect on mobile devices as well. Okay, so when we go to mobile, when we go on a mobile device, right here, you can see this looks good, and on tablets this doesn't look bad. Okay, so it looks perfect on tablets and then mobile devices. All right, so let's go ahead and then add the JavaScript. Okay, and make this whole thing work. All right, so we are going to open our JavaScript file, and before we type anything here, we should make sure it is actually linked to, or it is linked, oh come on, it is linked in our HTML. Okay, so our JavaScript file right here. Okay, and since we are going to need that functionality on all the pages, I'm just going to copy and then paste them on all the pages. On the contact page as well, we are going to have that. On the index we have it already, portfolio, and then services. Okay, I'm going to close this up. All right, so let's go back to the JavaScript. Let me actually make this smaller. Yeah, now how we are going to do this is going to be very simple. Now when we come to the page, okay, on mobile and then um, tablet devices, we shouldn't have this showing. Okay, this nav shouldn't be showing, or this drop down shouldn't be showing. Okay, so here in our CSS, we are actually going to display it none. Okay, so the UL, we are going to display that none. All right, and here in the JavaScript, what we are going to do is when we click this icon, then we should have the drop down. Okay, and when we click this icon, we should remove it and then replace it with the close icon. Okay, or with the close button, so that we can actually close this back. Okay, so let's grab the icons and then the UL, okay, or the nav links. Okay, so we are going to have a const. I'm going to call this open. Let's grab the nav first. Okay, so the nav, I'm going to use the documents query selector. Come on, I'm going to use query selector to grab that, and that is we gave that a class of nav links. Okay, that is what we are first grabbing. I'm going to duplicate this twice. So we are going to get the open nav btn. That's just what I'm going to call it. Let me make this bigger. And we gave that an ID, okay, of nav toggle open. Okay, that's the hamburger icon right here. And this one is going to be close nav btn. Okay, and we give that an ID of nav toggle close. Let me just show you that. Let's come back, and as you can see, that's what we did. Okay, so nav toggle open and then nav toggle close. So we are going to put an event listener on these two buttons. So the first one is going to be the open. Okay, we should be able to first open the navbar. So we are going to add an event listener on this. This is going to be a click event, and we are going to call this function. Okay, let's actually write the function outside here. So I'm going to call this open nav. There's going to be an arrow function, and let's have it. Okay, I'm going to point to that function. Okay, so here, as I said, we are just going to show the drop down. Okay, so the nav style display is going to be flex. Okay, initially that's what we gave it. Initially that's what we gave it. So let me show you real quick. That's the nav links. Where is it? Okay, so initially it was flexed. Before here we changed it to none. Okay, so here we are setting it back to flex again. Okay, so that's what we are doing here. So if I should come here and then click, I have it. Okay, now as I said, I should hide this button and then replace it with the close, just so we can close it. So I'm going to get the open nav button, and then I'm going to set the display. Come on, style first. Display is going to be none. Okay, I'm going to hide it, and then the close nav btn style display is going to be inline. Come on, block. Okay, so now if I click, I have my close. Okay, nice. Now to close it, we are going to have a very similar if thing here. Okay, to close it back. So I'm just going to call this function close nav, and let's get the close nav btn. Close nav btn, and we are going to add an event listener on it. Okay, let's reference the close nav function. Okay, let's have that, and here we are going to change the nav back to none. Okay, the display is going to be none. This is going to be displayed inline block. Okay, so we are going to show the open nav button again, and the close icon or the close button is going to be displayed none. Okay, so just the opposite of this function. Okay, let me have a comment here. Yeah. Okay. So now we should have our full functionality of opening and then closing our nav menu or the drop down. Okay. Perfect. All right. So I think that's all for now. Okay. We're actually going to have the animation in another video. Okay. I'm going to leave a link. I'm going to upload this all these two videos at once. Okay, the animation video is going to be linked in the description. This is taking too long, so I'm going to stop right here and I'm going to see you in the next video.